I do a lot of functions, but nothing gives me more pleasure when I have young people who've organised a great event like this, who were born here, were bred here, but want to give something back to their communities, be it their fathers or mothers' ancestral homeland. So for me, it gives me great pleasure, great pride that those people who are born here, as Scottish as we are, as Glaswegian as we are, and I'm known as the Minister for Iron Brew, so you don't get more Scottish than me. As proud as we are of all of that, we're just as proud of our links back to Pakistan, back to Kashmir, back to India, back to the mother or fatherland. So for that, let's give a really warm round of applause to all the organisers for putting it together. You know, the conflict in Kashmir, all of you, many of you, most of you will be aware that conflict has been going on, of course, since 1947. It's gone up and down in spate. Its tensions, generally towards election time, unfortunately, tend to get worse. But what I want to say is, regardless of where the conflict is, be it in Syria, be it a conflict in Kashmir, be it conflict in Iraq, it's always the ordinary people, the poorest people, who suffer the most because of conflict. And Kashmir is certainly no different to that. Iraq is no different. Syria is no different. So what we have to do is look beyond the conflict. What we have to do is beyond the politics. And this is me, a politician, saying you have to look beyond the politics. Because whether you're from Jammu Kashmir, whether you're from Azad Kashmir, whether you're from, in terms of Syria, whether you're Sunni, whether you're Shia, whether you're Alawite, in Iraq, same thing, whether you're from one or from the other. If you take all of that away and you strip right to the bare bones, every single one of us, we're held together and united by that common bond of humanity. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what colour you are, it doesn't matter what God you believe in, it doesn't matter if you believe in God or you don't believe in God. At the end of the day, you have to drink. You need water to survive. You need food to eat. You need education to move forward in life. And so the Kashmir Foundation, the work that it's doing to alleviate poverty, has absolutely my full support, the support of the Scottish Government as well. Because not only is it trying to alleviate poverty, what I like about it, if you've had the chance to read some of their boards, if you look in the Kashmir Foundation website, they're promoting the rich culture, the rich heritage, the rich diversity of Kashmir. How many of us know about that rich heritage? I would say Kashmir is probably the handicraft and the cultural capital of the subcontinent. So diverse from its culture, from India, from Pakistan, from China. It has great museums, wonderful handicrafts, from willow baskets all the way through to copper handicrafts and so on and so forth. So I would encourage you and urge you to make sure that you have a look at that. The Scottish Government, when it comes to Kashmir, we've had, the SNP actually has a policy and has had a policy since 2006 that we support international law. And if anything else, we believe that at the very least, those United Nations resolutions must be adhered to. And we believe that for the people of Kashmir. But what I want to say is, above and beyond the politics of Kashmir, is that every single one of us, we're here to help the poorest. We're here to help those who have nothing. And many of you could be spending the time with your family, you could be home, you could be at the movies. In fact, if many of you don't know, Akif actually is in one of the movies that is out at the moment. He's a famous guy I'm standing beside. So you could have been there, all of you, but you've chosen to come here. And for that, I commend you, I applaud you, and I hope you have a wonderful night. But at the end of it, let's never forget that regardless of conflict, that at the basics, at the most basic, every single one of us are human beings. And the reason why we care for these people is not because they're Muslim or they're Kashmiri, but it's because we're humans and they're humans. So with that in mind, I wish you a very good evening. I hope you do have a good night full of entertainment. I'm sorry I can't stay for all of it. I have to be at event number 3 for tonight. But I do wish a great event. You know, they're auctioning off a Ferrari. I'd tell them you can have my Polo, but they didn't take it. In fact, I didn't want to auction it for charity, I just wanted to get rid of it. But nonetheless, I hope that you have a great night. I hope lots of money is raised, and my very best wishes to the Kashmir Foundation for the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, Humza Yousaf. How are we looking there, Rashid? We started, are we good to go? Fantastic. Okay, just to cause a little bit more confusion, I'm going to move straight on to the next thing and dingy crusade for a bit. Should we do that? Yeah, okay. Can I please ask Councillor Shabbir Jafri to come on stage and say a few words? Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Ulma Karam Hazrat Mashallah Maulana Sahib, you mentioned a number of things that were very relevant to this issue and this evening for which everybody has taken the trouble to gather here. I've not been given a specific task of saying anything in particular. In fact, I don't know what I have to say, but I've been given the task to say something. However, I'll make my mind up, or rather I've made my mind up what I'm going to say. The first thing I shall say is that Humza also touched on it. It's the young boys and girls, young men and women that have got together here to put this event together, to bring this issue and this cause to our attention. Again, it's been an issue that has been slipping away. So I think before I move on with my speech, I would like to ask everybody in this hall to put their hands together and give the organising team a very, very warm appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, the area of Kashmir is one which is absolutely beautiful. I am not far away from that area. My hometown of Jhelum, equally beautiful I might say, isn't much by car. It's about an hour of a journey, and it's a place that I've visited numerous times. Its sights are absolutely magnificent. When you look at the highlands up north of Scotland, they are beautiful too, there's no doubt about it. But you would be forgiven for being mistaken that you were actually not in Pakistan. Unfortunately, the media portrays our country in a very, very negative aspect, and we don't very rarely get to see the positive aspects of Pakistan, which is a beautiful country full of beautiful people. My very first experiences of Kashmir, AJK, were when I actually came to Scotland as a child. And the very first family that, other than my own family, that we actually interacted with, and they're present, many members of that family are present here today, was a family from Mirpur. And I found their language different from our language. I found their dialect different from